Welcome back, besties. It is the Not Sorry podcast. It is time to begin. We are, I don't know, are we bitching about something today? I think I need to take my glasses off because my video looks like it's sending a massive glare. So we're going to be blind for a second. No, thanks for joining me. Thanks for coming back. Really appreciate your love and support. Today, we're going to talk about something that I've been passionate about for my entire adult life. For quite some time. So it's been a little bit, it's a little like, I don't know, battle of the sexes, if you will, because times have changed when it comes to the dynamic in relationships, shared responsibilities, things like that. Who does what, who expects who of what to do that, you know? And I think that's an important topic because I have been, well, how do I want to phrase this? I have been in relationships where the goalpost was always moving, right? We don't like that. And a lot of the time, well, pretty much every single time, if we're being honest, it always had, I don't know why, but it always had to do with cleaning, like OCD-ness, not maybe clinical OCD or whatnot, but just it could never be good enough type of thing. And it always wasn't a way where it came out with cleaning, not necessarily like the way I looked or whatever. You see where I'm going with this? I hear this problem so much in like my friends or just overhearing things I see on TikTok or the problems I've personally had. You know, I hear about this all the time, especially when it comes to women and how they have to constantly clean up after their guy, or he's such a slob, or things like that. We're getting into some like tricky territory here. And I know that, but it's important to talk about because I have always been the victim. I have always been the victim of being the messier one in relationships until now, which is kind of refreshing. But it was always like the roles were always reversed, where I was the one getting nagged on constantly for leaving a dish in the sink, or you know what I mean? Like it's just too much. And the way I look at it is that there are bigger problems in this world than the way that the dishwasher should be loaded. If your dishwasher is destroying your, side note, if your dishwasher is destroying your dishes because it's not arranged in a particular way, you need a new dishwasher and you need to stop bitching, okay? That's a big one. The dishwasher is like a classic example, right? Where people will just pull their hair out seeing their partners like load the dishwasher, and I'm like, well, you're not doing it. That's a win. Also, they're getting clean. That's a win. And what do you gotta complain about? The only time I've bitched at Mark about the way you loaded the dishwasher was that he would put the knife blade up. That's a no-no. I nicked myself a couple of times. And that's the only like critique I had. Like, can you not do that? I shove my hand in there. I want to get this over with. I'm not trying to pay that much attention. Just got to get this done. So that's the only time I've really bitched about it. And people, oh my gosh, I've had this debate with some of my friends, and I'm like, and the dishwasher is the example for the larger picture of chores and keeping things clean or things like that. My argument is like, is that the fish you really want to fry? Is that the hill you're gonna die on? I love a clean home. I appreciate tidiness. I don't want to do everything. I'm not your mom. I'm not cleaning up after you. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, I'm on your side. But then there comes a point that everyone gets to where it's like, how much am I going to care about this to where it might turn into an argument. It might stress me out too much, or you know what I mean? There's always that line that anyone can cross, right? And whenever I get to the point where my blood pressure might be rising, or I'm just like, why is he, like, Mark leaves his shoes out. Oh my God. And this is an apartment. If we lived in a big house and I saw a couple pairs of shoes hanging out around somewhere, it's not that big of a deal because it doesn't look visually too cluttered, but in an apartment, it does. And sometimes, luckily, we have like a great friendship to where I'm just like, bro, come on, like, can you just like clean up your shoes? And we'll just kind of laugh it off and he'll do it. So everyone gets to the point where it's like, okay, is this a battle? It's really about choosing your battles. And people, I just can't understand why some women, mostly women, but like I said at the beginning of this episode, it was always the roles reversed. I was always the one who's getting bitched at for like not doing the dishes right. Or I cleaned the house from top to bottom, but left this one thing out and nothing else would be appreciated. Like, it was awful. And where is that? Yeah, I just think, and when I'm in that position, when I was in that position of just like constantly being nagged at, it was this point in my mind where I was like, I love them, and I was always trying, but my trying was never seen or appreciated, and it was always like, oh, I have to do it your way. That's a no from me. I am not gonna like be your brain, and I never will be your brain. And if you're gonna bitch at me for not doing it a certain way, that's your problem, not mine. You want this done? I'll get this done. I'm happy to contribute to the household chores. Happy. It's necessary. We're a team. But oh my God, if you're gonna sit there and complain, huff and puff about how I wanted this done yesterday, or I just like, you really bitching about that kind of stuff? If we're having a party today and I'm doing shit last minute, yeah, you can be annoyed. I've been there. You know what I mean? Like, look at the bigger picture here. And I just can't understand how, I'm sorry, I love you guys. I love you so much. But the brains that decide to be so stressed out and upset over such small, trivial things has blown me away, constantly blows me away. Do you want the dishes done? I'm going to get the fucking dishes done. I'm going to get them done. I will. So go in the other room. Don't want, you know what I mean? It's like, I can't manage your brain. I can't read your mind. I'm not going to do it the way, not in a disrespectful way either. Like, I'm not going to do it the way you want it done. It'll get done, but not the way, I'm not going to do the exact same process you will. It's too stressful. And I just see so many times where I've been punished or other people punish their partners for not having their brain. That's kind of what it boils down to. And there are points where, sure, your partner can be an asshole about it. Because I've been in that position where it's like, okay, I could be an asshole about this, or be respectful, or because I love this person and I want to make them happy. And if putting this bowl in the corner of the dishwasher is what's going to make them happy, I don't know why. Like, there's bigger things in life to be more appreciative of. I can go on about this subject, on and on and on. And if you're watching on TikTok, I want to know your opinions about this, because this is a hot topic. I need to know what you think. But like I said, there are guys out there who are being assholes. Like, if you kind of understand that your lady may not want shoes everywhere all the time, make more of an effort. If you are the lady who doesn't like the shoes being left out all the time and you see them making effort, like, appreciate that. It's not going to be perfect. You could roll your eyes and find something else to complain about. That goes back to my original thing about how the goalposts are always moving, and I can just see so easily, and I've been there, where I just give up, where I'm like, I'm making an effort to do something that is not a habit of mine, and habits are hard to change. So I'm making these efforts to contribute more, do better, be cleaner, whatever. But I'm still getting bitched at. Oh my God. I'm not a child. I don't need to be coddled and be like, good job. You put away your shoes. You're such a good little boy. Oh. I don't need that. But what I also don't need is like the constant need for perfection and the goalposts always moving. That's exhausting. And if you're doing that, I hope this might be a wake-up call for some of you girls, because like, you want more peace in your home, just wipe the slate clean and find things to be more appreciative about. Watch your life change and watch him change too. I promise you. When Mark and I first moved in together, I was actually pretty nervous about this subject, because I obviously knew that he was not as clean of a person as I am. He was living in such a dorm style apartment, just clothes everywhere, dishes everywhere, only cleaned the dish that he needed at that moment. I'm just like, I don't want to turn into the person I've hated for so long, or what I've experienced for so long over the years. So I was nervous about that. But of course, you take risks, right? Every relationship is a risk. But we moved in together, and I just was kind of being very hyper aware of how I would respond to this subject if it got to a point where I just could not stand it. And I don't know what I was thinking, because this man, I gotta tell you, this man is so, I don't even know how to explain it. It just is a stark difference between like, yeah, he's not cleaner than me. He's never going to be tidier than me. He's just going to be a kind of a messier guy. That's the fact of life. I'm not going to punish him for that. But the fact that he stepped up the way that he stepped up the second we moved in together has blown me away. It just showed me this level of respect that he had for the way that I like things. And he was like, he notices that, and he like takes note of it. Like, he's not dumb. Like, guys can play. I feel like, as women, we complain like, oh, men are just so dumb. They're so oblivious. I don't think so. And it's an act that works very well, of men just being like, oh, what's going on? I've been with them. I've been with that guy. And so I just couldn't believe how this guy would just do that. I rarely have to ask for anything. Sometimes, like, after dinner, if I'm just like exhausted, I'm like, babe, can you put these in the dishwasher for me, please? And he'll just do it, whatever. And the way he loads or unloads the dishwasher is hilarious, because it takes him all night long. Oh my gosh, he'll do it during commercials, but he gets it done. And I might be like, oh, can you just complete this task, please? I cannot stand how long it takes you to do one thing. I can't. But I just shut up, scroll on TikTok, and ignore it, because it's getting fucking done. And it just showed me the stark difference between a man who respects me and a man who just, like, doesn't give a shit. They may love me, yeah, and they respect me in other ways, but when it comes to that, boy, were my eyes opened. But there was one instance, when was it? I think it had been a couple of months, maybe, very recently, that we had first lived together. And a couple of times he had been saying these things along the lines of like, did you see I did the dishes? Did you see I did the trash? And just like that little doe-eyed kid, like looking for you're such a good boy. Okay, if you know our relationship, like, that's how we talk to each other. It's sickening, and cute also. But he was like looking for, oh, did you see what I did? Did you see that? Did you see that? And we're both words of affirmation people, so we know this about each other. And I got to this point where I was like, oh my God, I'm about to shut this down. I was like, yeah, thanks for that. Did you see how I did all of your laundry and put it all away and cleaned up your shoes, and then I made you dinner, and then like I listed off these things and I was like, I can't, what about me? Like, I'm happy every time I do something. And I turned it into this joke where it's like the amount of things that I do versus what he does is huge difference, and I'm not getting appreciated for every single thing, but yet here you are being like, I put that dish away. Did you see that? And we had such a good laugh about it. It was funny because it was true. And from then he shut up. He really did shut up, and it kind of it reminded me, like, oh, this man, like, he loves to be verbally appreciated. And so do I. Like, we are the exact same person when it comes to, like, words of affirmation. Constantly. You could lay it on me. And if that's not your love language, I don't care, because everyone loves to hear how they're appreciated. Okay? If your man's like, I just want to have sex, I'm touch, blah, blah, blah. Ignore that. Just use your words. Words are so fucking powerful. But that situation was just so funny because it was just so true, where it's like, dude, you're not giving me that same appreciation, but is this like what you expect of me as a woman now that we live together? I'm in my place, and like this is just the dynamic now where like it was really funny. But yeah, no, since then he stopped that real quick, I'll tell you that. But yeah, I want to know your guys' opinion on this subject, or if you need a little bit of guidance on how to get your dude a little up off his ass, we can do that. And I've actually kind of said those things already, because words are powerful. I'm telling you that. And it's to the point too where, every relationship is different. Literally, duh, Katelynn. Every relationship is different. So it's like, I have my strong suits. I know going into this relationship that I'm a cleaner person. I set the expectation that I know I'm going to be cleaning more often. I'm going to be doing his laundry. That's just, and he does his own laundry too. Like, I'm not stressing if he needs a load done and I didn't get to it, like, and he doesn't bitch about it either. Okay. He's a grown man. But, I knew these realities that I was just going to be doing more because that's what I want to do. And he's also not an asshole about it, not making it harder on me. That's a key. So the fact that I started out with the right expectations and not resenting him for it is huge. Because knowing these expectations of myself, like, I'm going to be cleaning more, not a big deal. If I don't feel like doing it, I literally asked Mark to pay for the cleaners to come. It's like, hey, can you text them? And even though it's technically in my budget, he's the one who always pays for it. But does that make sense? Right? That's just who I am, and that's just who he is. So if you can wipe that slate clean and realize, like, oh, I prefer to do this or that myself, and he easily does the trash, or he does this or whatever. And if you need to sit down and have an adult conversation, again, we're back to this. We're back to needing to have some unsexy, unfun conversations about your relationship, because if you're living together, if you're in a marriage, you're a team, right? You're running a household. A household is a type of business, and you have to do it together. And if someone is feeling that the burden is a little bit heavier than it needs to be, then talk about it in a way that don't ever use the word you. You'd be like, you don't do this, you don't do that. Because that instantly puts up their walls of like, oh, I need to defend myself. And that conversation will, promise you, it will not go the way you want it to. So just say like, hey, I'm feeling overwhelmed lately with how much needs to be done around the house. Can we figure out a way, tap into their brain as a boy and tap into that, what do you call it, the problem solving aspect of how men are. So it's really easy to have those kinds of conversations if you do it the right way. And it does take time and practice, but there's times when I've seen, man, so much resentment in relationships because of tasks like this. Like, it doesn't have to be that way if you just sit down and talk about it, and also not be an asshole about it. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I've been in that position where it's just like, I can't do this. They can get over it. I'm going to get this thing done. I'm going to do these dishes. And if they're going to bitch about how it is arranged in the fucking dishwasher, they can get over it. They need to be happy that it got done. Amen. Seriously though, like that's just how I approach it. And I did grow up in a house full of boys. So this might be a little bit of a inside look into a man's brain. Not that I'm a boy, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, can you just get over it? The dishes got clean. Please, 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 let's have some peace. Anyway, let me grab a drink of water here. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. Like I said, if you're on the TikTok watching the little clips, I need to know your thoughts and feelings about household chores and the way it's divided, what the expectations are for you or the way they should be for your situation. You know, I'm just like really curious what your relationship is like. All right, let's look at our time. Perfect. So now is a time for my favorite segment called the buzzkill segment, where I talk about just things in life that are just a total buzzkill. You know, aside from not having a buzz, it's a buzzkill. Most recently, we had the Super Bowl, which was so good. I'm so happy that the Eagles won. They needed that. KC had their time. They had their moment. It's over, and it needed to be over. And I'm from Nebraska. Okay, there's the closest NFL teams in Omaha is Denver or Kansas City, and most people are KC fans. I'm over it. Everyone's been over it. I am on that bad bandwagon of like hating the Chiefs. They can suck it. And I'm really kind of weirded out that I'm becoming more and more of a sports fan since dating Mark. It's getting awful. Don't tell him I said that. Anyway, it was the Super Bowl. It was a good game. Loved the halftime show. I'll say that. But recently, I have noticed over the past couple of years, the commercials, that used to be such a big deal. And it kind of is, because you're spending millions and millions of dollars on these ads. But do you remember how good Super Bowl commercials actually used to be? My favorites off the top of my noggin are the E-Trade Baby. For sure. That one killed. Even the second one they made after that was really good. But the ones after that were awful. The E-Trade Baby was just a classic example. And those old school Dorito commercials were always so funny. And now it's like you just put a couple big names in these commercials and it hits. Like, no, save your money. I could care less about seeing Taylor Swift in a Doritos commercial or some high profile actor or actress in that Pepsi commercial. You know what I mean? Am I the only one feeling this way? I can't. Like, get back to the original creativity and use your brain. Don't think that just some pretty face or popular famous person is going to make it into the commercial hall of fame. Absolutely not. There was one. I will give one example. What was it being advertised for? I think it was Logitech, you know, like the computer stuff, like accessory computer stuff. It was years ago, obviously. And it was Kevin Bacon. And, Kevin Bacon was not playing himself, but his character was obsessed with Kevin Bacon. It was so funny. And I think what they were advertising was the Logitech keyboard being able to like connect to your TV and like search up Kevin Bacon films and all this stuff. It was so obviously him. It was so funny. That one is ingrained in my memory. What's your favorite Super Bowl episode or Super Bowl commercial that you'll never ever forget? I'm really curious. And I believe 100% that these recent commercials will not make it into that TV show that they created for like the commercials over the years. They always have it like the day of, like airing the day of the Super Bowl or like Super Bowl weekend. They'll have that like TV show where they put all those commercials together. These new ones, they really are. They're the buzzkill. You know, you shut up for the commercials and you kind of bet on if it's going to be a Doritos commercial next or a Pizza Hut commercial or something like that. And it's just not like that anymore. They really took the fun out of it, you know? And and can we talk about the episode for Hers and Hims, or the commercial for Hers and Hims? What a hit and a miss, bro. It was like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the commercial started out, and sometimes you don't know what is being advertised till like the very end. Like they hook you. It started out like the American food system is designed to keep you sick. The healthcare system wants you to be sick and they profit off of your sickness. There's no time for that. Like, it is time for a revolution. Everyone, yes, let's go. And then it was about like basically Ozempic, their version of Ozempic. Are you joking me? I don't think it got past anybody because it was like, you know, screw the healthcare system and the, you know, food system that is designed to keep you sick and overweight, and it's time, blah, blah, blah. Here's a drug. Bro. That was a real swing and a miss. And I couldn't believe it. Everyone got hooked pretty quickly because it was such an intense start to this commercial. It's like, oh, yes. It's like having you say yes. And then the ending was like, wah, 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 wah. Like, here's a drug so you can stop being fat. Okay. Yeah. But you want it real quick? Right. Yes. That was funny. I'll say that commercial was hilarious. Anyway, that concludes this week's episode. Let's see what we got next week. Do I want to announce next week? Yeah, you know, we're gonna be talking about some breakup stuff. I know it's gonna get a little serious, so stay tuned for that. I don't know what buzzkill we'll have next week. That's probably what this podcast should be about. It's just things in life that are a buzzkill. But again, thanks for listening. If you could do me a quickie favor before this episode ends, just hit the rating and write a quick little review just for the algorithm. I think that's how it works. But appreciate your support. Love it. And I'm here. I'll be here all week. Okay, folks? Peace out.